Hello everybody and welcome back to the retro horror game Iceberg. I know it's taken a little bit for part 2 to come out. I've had a lot going on between work and life, and it was a kind of, do I make a video when I'm suffering or do I make a video when I'm slightly less suffering? So I'm slightly less suffering, so I figured today would be any good of a day to do part 2. Now I know originally when I made the first video, which did very, very well by the way, I'm almost at 100 views on that video and I got a lot of subscribers from that one, so I was really happy to see that. I noticed I was going to keep it to where it was part 1 would be 1 and 2, part 2 would be 3 and 4, part 3 would be 5 and 6, and all that fun stuff. Tier 3 is a lot longer, and so is Tier 4, and instead of sitting down and recording that for a long time, I'm going to go ahead and do Part 3 by itself, Part 4 by itself, and I guess for a grand finale I'll do 5 and 6. It's just to keep my sanity, only somewhat. I promise I'm not a knockoff Wendigoon, I just need to have some sort of time and research, and it's a lot of research. So without further ado, let's get into it, and I'm not trying to be an knockoff Wendigoon, but I hope you enjoy and thank you for watching. Tier 3 is going to be fairly well-known horror games. These are often specific subgenres like JRPGs, dark fantasy, and media tie-ins, so may have led to limited appeal when they first came out. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. This cult classic run-and-gun horror game puts players in the sneakers of Zeke and Julie as they save their neighbors from B-movie monsters across 50-plus levels. Developed by LucasArts and published by Konami, the game stands out for its colorful art style and irreverent humor. Players fight vampires, werewolves, and even demonic babies using wacky weapons like soda can grenades and bubble guns. The game features a catchy soundtrack and a high level of difficulty that challenged players to master every stage. Due to its violent content, it was censored in some countries. Chainsaws were replaced with axes in the European version. A remaster was released in 2021, bundled with its less popular sequel, Ghoul Patrol. Martian Gothic Unification was set on a Martian base where an alien infection has wiped out a research team. This survival horror game puts you in control of 3 characters who must explore separately or risk death. Developed by the British studio Creative Reality, it plays like a sci-fi twist on Resident Evil, complete with tank controls and eerie pre-rendered backgrounds. The core gameplay mechanic forbids the characters from meeting face-to-face, creating unique tension and puzzle complexity. The story is written by Dreamfall creator Steve Ince, and its dark atmospheric design was praised despite mixed gameplay reception. It was one of the last horror games Creative Reality ever made. The game has since become a cult favorite for fans of obscure space horror. Nightmare Before Christmas is Oogie's Revenge. This horror-action spin-off of Tim Burton's classic film was developed by Capcom and blends hack-and-slash gameplay with musical boss fights. You play as Jack Skellington using a magical whip called the Soul Robber to battle Oogie Boogie's minions and save Halloween Town. This game features original songs and voice actors, including Chris Sarandon, reprising his role as Jack. Despite being aimed at younger audiences, it has a surprisingly deep combo mechanics. Capcom originally intended it to launch a series of Nightmare games, but plans were cancelled after lukewarm sales. It remains a fan favorite for its stylish visuals and musical homage to the film. This game is awesome. It's literally baby's first Devil May Cry, and you get to do music like boss battle things. And I sat down and probably played it for 2 hours when I first played it. And I need to finish it, but it's really fun. Illbleed was released exclusively for the Sega Dreamcast. It's this bizarre survival horror game that satirizes B-movie horror tropes and theme parks. Developed by obscure Japanese team Crazy Games, it features a unique fear detection system that tracks your heart rate, bleeding, and even your sense of smell. You play as Eriko, a girl trapped in a haunted theme park where each level spoofs horror cliches. The game is infamous for its surreal humor, grotesque traps, and voice acting that borders on basically the most absurd thing you've ever heard. It became a cult hit despite its clunky controls and was never released in Japan. The original Japanese version was nearly cancelled and only survived thanks to fan demand. Calling was developed for the Nintendo Wii. Calling is a Japanese horror game that users trapped in a black page, a cursed website that leads to the afterlife. The game's primary mechanic uses the Wii Remote as a cell phone receiver, allowing ghosts to call the player mid-game. Its atmosphere relies on ambient sound, slow pacing, and sudden jump scares instead of action. It draws from Japanese urban legends, especially those involving technology and isolation. Though not a commercial hit, it is praised for creative ways of using the Wii's hardware. It was one of Hudson Soft's last major games before the company was absorbed by Konami. Sanatorium is a dark and emotional point-and-click psychological horror game developed by Dreamforge Entertainment. You play as Max, an amnesiac who awakens in a disturbing asylum and must travel through bizarre, nightmarish environments. The game explores themes like guilt, trauma, and madness, often through surreal symbolism. Its unique art direction and haunting narrative won it several awards in the late 90s. It has been praised as one of the best horror adventure games of its era, despite a few technical limitations. In 2015, it was re-released for mobile and PC, making it more accessible to a modern audience. Okage Shadow King was a quirky PlayStation 2 RPG that has players controlling a boy named Ari who becomes possessed by an evil Shadow King named Stan. I don't know if they named him Stan for Satan or not, but let's just roll with it. Developed by XenoWorks and published by Sony, the game features Tim Burton-inspired art, quirky dialogue, and turn-based battles. It blends comedy with horror themes like curses, spirits, and demons. The game was not a major commercial success, but has developed a dedicated cult following. It's noted for its unique visual style and fourth-wall-breaking humor. In 2016, Okage was re-released on PS4 as a digital classic. Escape from Bug Island. I hate this. Fuck. Escape from Bug Island is a survival horror game for the Wii, which pits you against massive insects on a cursed island after a camping trip goes wrong. Originally titled Necronesia, I can pronounce things, in Japan, it was developed by Sandon Entertainment and published by Eidos. Gameplay involves using the Wii Remote to swing melee weapons and fight off swarms of bugs. The game was widely criticized for its clunky mechanics and poor graphics, but some praised its campy B-movie aesthetic. It became a so-bad-it's-good title for collectors of Wii oddities. Its protagonist's voice acting has become a meme in some retro gaming communities. I hate this game. I hate this game with a passion. I will never beat this game. I refuse to beat this game. No notes, worst thing ever. Now the opposite of the worst thing ever, the best thing ever. Constantine, based on the Keanu Reeves movie. Constantine is a third-person action horror game that blends biblical horror with gunplay. Developed by Bit Studios, it features exorcisms, holy artifacts, and trips to hell using a unique Hell World mechanic. The game includes Reeves' likeness, but not his voice, though it does follow the film's tone and plot loosely. Players can wield crucifix shotguns and holy water grenades, which add a fun supernatural twist to combat. It was released on PS2, Xbox, and PC, but received mixed reviews. Fans of the character appreciated the dark visuals and demon designs. Van Helsing, based on the Hugh Jackman film, it's a third-person action game that blends gothic horror with fast-paced combat. Developed by Sapphire, it features stylish gameplay, grappling hooks, and monster slaying across classic Universal horror settings. The game is released on PS2 and Xbox and includes battles with Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, and werewolves. While it didn't receive critical acclaim, fans enjoyed its campy tone, cinematic flair, and some praised it as a better Devil May Cry clone than expected. A Game Boy Advance version was also made, drastically different in design and style. Also like Nightmare Before Christmas, this game is awesome. Play it. I will indoctrinate my audience. Play Van Helsing for the PS2, I beg of you. Eternal Poison is a PlayStation 2 strategy RPG that's known for its dark fantasy setting and moody gothic art style. Players venture into the demon-infested land of Besk, I couldn't figure out how to pronounce that, to rescue a kidnapped princess and capture monsters called Majin. The game features branching storylines across 5 characters, each with their own path and moral gray areas. Combat blends tactical grid-based gameplay with elaborate monster-catching mechanics. Though the English localization received criticism for stiff voice acting, the visual novel style narrative earned praise. The game's Japanese title, Poison Pink, hints at its thematic mix of beauty and darkness. Cursed Mountain is a survival horror game for the Wii. It's set in the Himalayas and draws heavily from Buddhist spiritual themes. Players explore a haunted mountain to find their lost brother, facing ghosts and supernatural forces rooted in Eastern folklore. It was developed by Austrian studio Sproing. Who names their thing Sproing? With input from Tibetan cultural consultants. The game emphasizes atmosphere, ritual, and meditation over traditional horror action. Though held back by motion controls, it was praised for its originality and mature tone, and remains one of few horror games to use Buddhism as a central narrative element. When starting research for this game and stuff like that, or not the game, but the Iceberg, and and then I get to certain games, I'm like, wow, I gotta talk about that one, and I don't like that one, and then I go to one I like, or I find interesting, and then I find the next game, which everyone just absolutely loves. Friday the 13th was an NES game that cast players as camp counselors trying to stop Jason Voorhees from murdering children and friends at Camp Crystal Lake. It was developed by Atlas, Persona Atlas by the way, and published by LJN, Laughing Joking Numbnuts for those who watch Angry Video Game Nerd. Known for its licensed but often clunky titles. Gameplay includes side-scrolling navigation and a first-person combat mode in cabins. Criticized at launch for its vague objectives and high difficulty, it has since gained cult status. Its eerie 8-bit music and Jason's surprise attacks were genuinely unsettling for the time. The game has been heavily referenced and parodied in horror gaming retrospectives because it's horrible. Don't play it. Honestly, forget it exists. It's probably better for you. The Thing is a direct sequel to John Carpenter's 1982 film by the same name. This third-person squad-based shooter follows a rescue team investigating the aftermath of the original incident. Developed by British studio Computer Artworks, it includes trust and fear systems. Teammates can panic, desert you, or even turn out to be infected. Players must manage ammo, health, and suspicion while battling grotesque mutants. The game features voice work from Breaking Bad's Perf Anderson and nods to the original movie. It was critically well received and sold over 1 million copies. A sequel was planned, but cancelled after the studio shut down. However, Night Dive did make a re-release, and I haven't played it yet, but it's really good apparently, and I need to actually buy that game. Oh boy, this one's the fun one. Night Trap has players monitor security cameras to protect teenagers from vampiric intruders called augurs. Originally developed for the failed Control Vision system, it was later released on the Sega CD. It became a lightning rod for controversy due to its perceived sexual content and violence, leading to the US Senate hearings that helped form the ESRB. The game features 80s pop star Donna Plato in a campy horror role. Though critically panned, it became a collector's item and cult favorite. A 25th anniversary edition was released in 2017 with remastered footage. This next entry I made sure to talk about because it's one of my friend's things that he showed me when I was working with him. So, Blood Will Tell is based on Osamu Tezuka's manga Dororo. This PS2 action game stars Hikamaru, a samurai missing 48 body parts stolen by demons. Players recover his abilities like his eyes, heart, or arms through intense battles and exploration. The game features stylish boss fights and allows you to use prosthetic weapons like arm blades and knee cannons. It was developed by Sega WoW and is now one of the rarest PS2 titles due to its limited production. Critics praised its inventive concept and emotional story. The source manga was later adapted into a 2019 anime revival that drew new attention to the game. Run Like Hell is a sci-fi horror game for the PS2 and Xbox. Run Like Hell follows a man stranded on a space station overrun by alien creatures. The game mixes third-person shooting with cinematic cutscenes and stealth segments. It features voice talent from Lance Henriksen and Kate Mulgrew, and even a custom soundtrack by metal band 3 Days Grace. Hell yeah. Originally conceived as a full survival horror experience, it was drastically changed during development into a more action-focused title. Critics found the gameplay uneven, but appreciated the atmosphere. It became a cult title among fans of alien-themed horror. Second Sight is a psychic action horror game that follows John Vadek, a man who wakes with amnesia and supernatural abilities in a government lab. Developed by Free Radical of Time Splitters fame, the game blends stealth and telekinesis as pairs piece together the truth behind military experiments. The narrative uses time jumps between past and present, revealing emotional twists as John's memories return. Gameplay includes mind control, healing, and environmental manipulation. Though overshadowed by similar titles like Psyops, it has earned praise for storytelling and innovative powers. A spiritual successor was never made, but the game remains beloved by its fanbase. And for our last game on Tier 3, we have Berserk games. This is typically referring to things like Sword of the Berserk Guts Rage, which is based on Kentaro Miura's legendary manga Berserk. Sword of the Berserk was one of the earliest games to feature QTEs and mature dark fantasy combat. Released on the Dreamcast, it starred Guts in an original story set between arcs of the manga. The game was unusually violent for the time, featuring massive swords, demonic enemies, and graphic dismemberment. It included fully voiced cutscenes and deep lore references for fans of the source material. The game was praised for its gritty tone and cinematic direction. Despite its clunky controls, it gained a loyal following and inspired future Berserk game adaptations. And with that, we have Tier 3 of the Iceberg completed. It was an interesting one and featured some games I hated, but other ones I really enjoyed looking into, especially things like Blood Will Tell, which I didn't know had a game for it, because I really like that manga, well, the anime and what I've watched of it. But thank you guys so much for watching. As soon as I can get part 3 out now, I will make sure I get that done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm working on. I have a few other ideas that are currently floating around in my head. I have this horrible habit called I write scripts but don't record videos. I probably have 3 other videos right now that I should probably start working on, but this has been the one that I've been meaning to work on the most. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, a comment telling me what else you guys would like to hear. And yeah, that's about all I got. So just wanted to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.